Where I get myself in trouble is that I need to do a reality check on a regular basis. So if I go into Draw, I made my changes and the update, and I want to check the default sheet format here, and notice that it went back to where we left off. Alright, I moved a bunch of things around. I found that my text was over here, but I've been saving the document template, not the sheet format. So when I do New, come back over to the templates in my landscape, everything is where I adjusted it. And since I haven't updated or saved the sheet format, I need to make sure and go do that. And so I'll scroll down, hit Save, Yes, and where this comes in is if I create a new sheet, I want to make sure I get this, not the other one. Alright, so the check, and this is back to, we were still in a drawing, not in the template. So template's updated. Now I just need to make sure that the sheet format is updated. So this is a regular, and I would have found out as soon as I hit that new sheet, because it would have added it. It would have created the next one. And when I add a new sheet, even based on this, I'm getting the current information. Alright, so one of the things we need to do, and I guess I could do that from here, so I'll cancel, is let's create a new part and use my template for the inch and front plane, and I'm just going to make a box. We have, let's see, I did not open the sketch, so everything's highlighted, but let's sketch, and then we'll do a rectangle, and I just need something solid because it's not going to bring in the sketch. Hardly ever do I go without dimensions, but based on what we need is something of size, and then my custom properties. So this is my example 1, part number 1. Materials, so that we have that, can be the alloy, aluminum alloy, revision A. Out of the list, it was drawn in detail, or drawn by. Still haven't gone back and figured out the radio boxes. And notice when I save, it's putting me back in program templates, all the way down to templates. So we need to at least put this somewhere where I can find it. So sample, let's do example 1, block. Alright, it can stay in the system, that's fine. We'll go back to the drawing, so going to Window, let's see, I think it is Control Tab. Yep, that one does the window, says it's updating, not sure what it's updating to. Having a little bit of a video lag, so I'm not sure if that's a driver issue. Now, per standard did not stay on this one, so I want to make sure that I'm in per standard for no other reason than if I apply dimensions, if I do those other things, that they'll stay put. Alright, so the drawing, I can go to Model View, I can go to the View Palette and open, but let's stay with the Model View. Let's see, Start Command when creating new drawing. Well, I already did that and I closed it, so the open file is there. If not, we would browse. And I really only need a view to act as the solid in place. Alright, now the origin's on. Interesting. So we don't need the origin on, typically. We haven't saved this as the file name. That's centered, so that'll be a little interesting. Let's edit the sheet format, and I'll come over here to Drawn, have not included a date. So if I click on that, we go to the links, and I want to do model found here, and this is going to be drawn by, and mine comes up, so I would need a drawn by and a drawn date for that to be able to work. I haven't added anything to the custom properties for the drawing, so probably do the same thing here. So just as a reminder, and then this is for the drawing, and we want a text box, and we'll see if there is a detail. You can stay with the drawn by text and a value. We're going to enter the value, so that one's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and call this detailed, even though it's going to be drawn by, or detail. So detail is the process of putting the dimensions on and providing all of the views and sections and set details, so whatever the auxiliary views. And we'll make this a drawn date and pull that one. Date completed. Let's see what we have. Drawn date. And if I make that a date, then it'll pick up those values, and we want to save, and then this is going to be our template. And staying consistent, at least that'll be the draw template, even though it's a DRW PRP. All right, we'll close that, and let's see, F5 to refresh. Oh, I should have made that a list. All right, so well, we may have to go back and pull that. And when I do that, I'll get the calendar, and we can apply. And we go to File Properties, we'll see that there is only the custom sheet format size, drawn by, and the date. Okay, so if I go back in and edit that to be a pull down, if there's more than one, we go through there. Now it did pull the date for that one, which is not exactly the one that I was wanting it to grab. And there should be another box here. So I actually just need to see what's going on with that one. So model found here, property name. There's a drawn by but no drawn dates. So that would be something I need to go and edit. Well, we'll do that once, and then I will edit sheet, get out of it, or click the upper corner. So let's save. No, we don't really need to. We could save that. All right, so back into the block. If we go back into, I can get to the property tab builder. This time we're going to open. And one of the reasons I came back to the part file is I want to actually apply this. So the radio buttons I'm going to figure out later. I'm going to go ahead and kick that one out. Let's see, this list was for the drawn by. And we need a drawn date, so put in another text box. And that one's going to pull, oh, and I should put by there. And this is going to be the date, and it's going to be for the custom. And let's just go ahead and save that. And if I minimize it, I'll probably come back to it a couple more times in the process here. And if I do F5, that's going to update. And 9. And now let's see. Let's make this 1 day before. And when we save it, then we go back to the part, edit the sheet format, and delete, go back into our links, and this is going to be for the model found here, property name. Now, oh, a text box 8, so apparently I did not update that, but should be able to. Alright, and then current document found here, and property name will be drawn by, and OK. Alright, it didn't activate, so make sure it activates. Current document, and drawn date, and OK. Alright, so that's a little better. Alright, so we're going to go through this process multiple times. Oh, unfortunately I did that on sheet 2. So let's see what that looks like over here. Got myself in trouble again. Not paying attention to what I was telling it to do. Line that up a little better. Line those up a little better. So we'll see. Will it save it out of sheet 2? I'm not quite sure. Alright, what I don't want to do is save the block. At least not yet. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. I can always put it back in. And then we're going to do save sheet format. And it went to my A landscape, so that's good. Yes. Alright, so the check would be to add another one. Alright, at least that, since there's no model, that would be empty, and that one's still going to have today's. So let's go ahead and clear these out, and that'll be another illustration that we could, if I already started. Okay, that one had the block in it, so come back to the first sheet. And I've made these adjustments to the sheet format. So any file that's already been created, any drawing that we're well into, I would come back to the properties and make sure to click on the SLDDRT, reload it, apply the changes. Now I have the most current. Alright, so I'm still in the sheet. We just saved the sheet format. I have not saved it to the template. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and do the save as. And probably just a good practice when I've done this previously, I've pretty consistently saved the sheet format and the document template at the same time. So now we have the DRW DOT. Need to close that. New my landscape. Alright, so we have that. I bring in the block one more time and place it. And then the title, that updates. We have not created a finish field, so that would be something I need. I made that part of the title block data, and that was kind of a mistake, so let's edit the sheet format, and we'll go back and remove that. I need to be in title block fields. So finish, we'll just delete that one out. And I can kind of tell as I hover over, let's see if I can find it again. As I hover over, it goes to string property, sheet, finish. So it's tied to that already. And the rev could either be the drawing rev or the part rev. So we have to kind of decide, since the parts can be revved at different levels, then we need to link to the model found here. I did not create a revision, and I have tried. Okay, Okay, so that one's a little bolder, that one's a little less. All right, that looks good. I have tried doing a rev for the drawing, rev for the, numbers that are, there's always going to be something. So let's put it that way. So I made a couple changes. We don't want that that file, and we don't want that part file to be saved with our document template. So one more time, save sheet format, my landscape, yes. And just to make sure, save as, and I'm getting closer to the details or the final details. Make sure I'm picking my format, and you want to place it, yes. And we close it, open up one more time, my landscape, bring in the block. Alright, so by doing this being the iterative process, I'm going to catch those each time. So my part number did not update. Oh, I made that one at this point as part of the title block, so I enter that one manually. So we'll change that out, and then we'll call this for you to experiment for the process, and let it play out. So I think my title block, the comment, should be the only one that I ultimately end up with. So that being the case, if I want to put in a manual comment, that would be a good place. Notes we might have go across the top here. And pretty much my feeling is I want to maximize this area. If I'm on a B-size sheet, having everything in the corner, a little more open space over here is okay. With the default, but on a regular A size, I don't know. It just seems to take up too much on the title block. And then old habits, meaning that in high school when we drew title blocks with pencil and ruler, we did not make them super complicated. We kept everything fairly simple. All right, so that one goes back to the link, and we're going to put that as the model found here, and then the document becomes the part number, or the part number becomes the part number. There we go. So that updates. That has my current information. And some of this is going to be repetitive, but if we go to the title of the drawing, which might not be a bad idea. I don't know how much room I'm going to ultimately take up there, so I'll abbreviate it. I'm going to try not to get too carried away with these. Alright, one more through the process. We delete the view. And I could leave that there, save it, see where it keeps popping up, but then at some point I'm going to forget about it, and then it's going to show up in my document template. So save sheet format, sure. Now, as far as the process, you've seen those a couple of times. So decide what you want in your title block, and we'll build it from there. And we'll take a look at some of the symbols, and actually I'm not going to have too much room unless I start shrinking some things up to maybe look at putting in the third angle projection symbol and maybe a default surface finish symbol.